information is really good, but my appearance is really horrible in telling you this. I really need to do I have appointments today. But anyway, things are coming to my mind since I ran you the last video. There were 2 times in that last video where I feel like I spoke incorrectly, and I'm sorry for that. One time when I was talking about fits. Okay, so I want to correct myself about the fits. And also I wanted to dive in more about DID and the altars. So my last video, there were 2 points where I repent. I want to correct myself. The one point is about the fits. The second point I forget, but I'm sure when I keep talking, I'll wind up touching on it. So when Charlie was talking about Ali having fits, listen, when an altar comes forward, I would not call that a fit. I'd call like a panic and anxiety attack or shell shock when I went running through a neighborhood naked, 1 foot in this reality and 1 foot back in a human hunting party, but I can't touch down either foot, so to speak. And that's what combat vets come home from war with, the shell shock. I'm talking about that kind of shell shock. That's not a fit, that's shell shock. People confuse PTSD flashbacks with having altars. This is why people need a professional. And this is why people should not listen to testimonies like Holly Baglio and then self-diagnose themselves. And that's happened a lot. I've been online for 10 years, since August 2016, officially and formally to the public. Excuse my informal appearance. I am who I say I am. Now getting back to last video, like when these altars come forward, it's not like a fit. These altars, they could come forward for an hour or for a week. It could be 1 or it could be more. It depends. For me, what happened to me, I was intentionally programmed. So whenever there was an altar forward, it was always a tier. A tier would be forward. What's a tier? A tier is 3 altars at one time. That's how I was programmed, was 3, 1, 3. 3 altars at one time, 13 levels deep of altars with skill sets that you could pull forward. Max Spears, S-P-I-E-R-S, he was programmed 2, 2, 2. So when a tier of altars for him were pulled forward, it would be 2 altars at once, 22 tiers down of skill sets. Now, what I'm telling you is true MKUltra, and it's not performed in a closet or a bathroom at your home. Okay, typically, altars are created so you can get the person to do whatever they will not do. Like, anybody can be hypnotized. The person saying, oh, you can't hypnotize me, that's the very first person that's easiest to hypnotize, is that person. Altars are created, whether it be by Joseph Mangli or Freemasons. Freemasons, I've noticed with working with real victims from Freemasons. I met a real True Blue, real deal McCoy victim, and she had 225 altars. I met her and knew her face to face. We spoke often. So I used to be a part of a lot of communities, but also I've gotten to meet a lot of people over the past decade, at conferences as well as online. These altars, they can be programmed for different reasons. So when a person's altar comes forward, their core raw personality, like right now, you're sitting here watching me. That's your core raw personality. That's you as you know you, right? That's your core raw personality. But if like Jason came up behind you and had an axe and you turned around and saw him, you'd jump out of your skin and you'd be so frightened that You might possibly leave your body as you're trying to run away to get away from Jason, right? Anyway, typically when alters come forward, the person has gaps of missing time. It's just a black block in their head. They don't remember what happened. For 40 years of my life, because I am a programmed individual used as a super soldier, alters would come forward and I would not know it. When I was 40 years old and I turned to my Savior, Yahushua HaMashiach, he gave me co-consciousness. So that way, hey, Joe, it's great to see you. So that means co-conscious means basically the alters would come forward, but my core raw personality would still be here, still conscious, and know what they were doing. I might be in the back seat of the car and the alters are driving the car, but I was awake and aware of what they were doing while driving the car. Maybe unable to stop them from what they were doing, but I was aware of what they were doing. Now, I was used as a super soldier, so I was intentionally programmed not to remember. I was drugged and hypnotized and programmed not to remember. But even still, if a regular person has a traumatic situation where an alter is created because the situation is so bad, when that alter comes forward, that core raw personality that you don't remember, the alter is forward, so the alter is operating, but you don't remember. To you, it's just going to be a block of missing time. But the alter is going to know what the alter is doing. A regular person that has alters, that's typically what happens. An alter comes forward, they don't remember what happens. The alter is operating. And, the alters, they develop their own personalities and give themselves names. What happened to me was done by our government and military. My alters never had names. They had instructions and orders. When I learned that I had alters, what I would do is I would nickname my alters by certain characteristics. Like Shakes, she was the one that was electrocuted. Man, that sucked when she came forward. Shakes, I got a drawing for Shakes. Well, I'm fully reintegrated, so she's not here anymore, but you can see a past picture of her. So Shakes, when Shakes came forward, I remember that day because I was at Dave's house in Garfield. No, it wasn't Garfield. It was somewhere else. Well, anyway, this is Shakes. This is the alter that came forward, but I nicknamed her Shakes. She didn't have a name. The white lab coat, it was not Mangly. It was another lab coat. Was it? Oh, I rode the lightning all right. He turned those knobs all the way up and he electrocuted me. So when this alter came forward, when I was deprogramming, I sat at my friend Dave's house for 5 hours at the table. For the first 3 hours, I shook uncontrollably. My muscles had remembered this event. I couldn't stop shaking. My friend Dave was like, what do you want? What do you want? I'll give you this. I'll give you that. What do you want? I'll get it, whatever. I was like, no, my wine and my medicinal cannabis will be enough. You can keep all your other extracurricular activities on. Sure, I'd love them, but I can't use them right now. Definitely not right now. My wine and my medicinal cannabis and my faith are enough. And I just sat at his table shaking. So I was recalling memories from the dumps. So I sat there and I said, Dave, I'll tell you how to deal with alters. When they come forward, you get their memories. You ask them, are you hungry? Do you need something to drink? Ask them to go to the bathroom. Treat them like a real human being because they are. They are that person that's stuck at the moment of extreme trauma. But now this is going to come forward and this is who you're talking to. So at first I was embarrassed when my alters would come forward and speak, and I refused to let them speak, and I refused to let other people speak to them. And that was wrong because I'm fully reintegrated now, but excuse me if I speak about myself in the third person when I do talk about having alters. I'm not using bad grammar. I'm just trying to give you my testimony. Now I drew a blank. So an alter is somebody who's stuck at the moment of extreme torture, and then that alter will come forward. You treat them like a person. I am my alters are me. It's just, this is a snippet of holly. It's a piece of holly that's back being electrocuted. So I would write my memories. I would draw my memories. You treat alters are not demons, not in and of themselves. Alters can be programmed to be animals. Alters can be programmed to be a robot and have no feelings. Alters can be programmed to recognize one another or not recognize one another. For instance, when a tier of alters was forward, one alter would be completely oblivious to the fact that there were two alters there. The two alters, one would be in charge, and the other one would be in charge watching all three, or all of them. The second one was not aware of them at all, and the third one had their function, but also was not aware of the other two alters. It's very, MKUltra programming is very intricate. And being raped by somebody does not constitute MKUltra programming. So I sat at the table for 3 hours. This is back in 2019, and I sat there shaking. Finally, the 4th and 5th hour, my body calmed down, and I was able to write out my testimony. I made sure my alter ate, had a full belly, drank, was content and comfortable. And I prayed to Yahuwah in Yahushua HaMashiach's name. I took my whole testimony. I said, here, Abba, here's my drawing. For the past 5 hours, I've been praying to you. And Abba, I pray for full reintegration. I pray to heal from this. Help me carry this. And please cure and heal me if it be in your will. And he did. December 2022, the year 2022, full reintegration of 169 alters. 8 years. When I realized it, December 2014, until I was fully reintegrated. 8 years. So these people that say, oh, I've had alters for 25 years, and they've had faith for 20 of those years, that does not make sense to me. Because I know him. I guess people love being the victim. But anyway, so that shakes. Typically, a person does not remember anything when an altar is forward. Heavenly Abba blessed me with co-consciousness. So, but that's because I turned to him, and Heavenly Abba tapped my shoulder and said, Holly, I know you came to me, you gave me your covenant, all this stuff, but there's something else we have to get right. Then all of a sudden, the demonic attacks from when I was a kid started to happen. But worse off, the memories of the kids in cages came back. And I was one of those kids in a cage. And I knew I was not mentally ill because the memories of the kids, I remember us from being real little toddlers to then growing up to being teenagers. So that was not mental illness. That was memories that I had. But it was not until I turned to Yahushua HaMashiach, our Savior, our Alua in human form. It was not until I turned to him that he gave me the co-conscious and could show me how all of this was. No, typically people with alters do not have co-consciousness. If somebody wants to lie about having alters, they'll tell you that they're co-conscious, so that way they can get away with remembering what happened. Because when somebody has alters, the reason why you have alters is so the predator is never identified. They hide. And so the person doesn't remember, and you can use them over and over again. A true MKUltra program, true programmed person. A lot of people online masquerade as MKUltra survivors, and they're just simply not. And having a military family, but your daddy was abusive, that's not MKUltra. That's an abusive dad. Okay? If you get raped by your uncle and then you turn around and rape your sister, that's incest. That is not satanic ritual abuse. I know because I'm a legit survivor of satanic ritual abuse. SRA, DID. I was used as a super soldier for 37 years of my life. I had the supernatural abilities and they turned me into a soldier. And I've got 37 years on black operations, military service. And you're welcome. They experimented on me and those other kids a lot. You're welcome for my service. You paid for it through your tax dollars anyway. You should really know where you put them. Most of your presidents, like George Bush Sr., he was a MKUltra programmer and boss to us and the dumbs. Yeah, Biden raped me and the other kids. So did his son, Hunter. Big deal. I've been saying that online for years, and I don't have to run for my life and live in a vehicle. I can stay in place. So people that say they have to live on the run, for what? Because they're a whistleblower? I'm a whistleblower. I spoke at conferences. I do interviews giving my testimony, and I'd love to do more. I should really write to people introducing myself and say, hey, you have a platform. Would you be interested in hearing my story? I'm actually a legitimate kid from a cage. Well, I'm fully grown now, but I was a kid in the cage, the type that Fitz Springmeier wrote about. I really come from the cage. I'll give you my testimony, except for the programmers' names outside of Joseph Mangley, because I'm not naming them. I'll tell you everything else. Those programmers are still alive, and I get to pick and choose my battles. I gave you George Bush Sr., I gave you Joseph Mangley. That's enough. You know the programmers from Montauk? Yeah, even the programmers that are dead, and I've already said too much, I won't name. There's too many connections. But you know what? Their science was not worth their victims, because I remember trying to escape those Montauk programmers. I think their interviews are still up on the internet somewhere. The History Channel had asked me to do a show for them, Dark Files, but I screwed up and put up a post, hey, I've been asked to do a documentary, and it screwed up my chances, so I was never on Christopher Guantano's Dark Files. Maybe it's better. Maybe it's better that way. My name's not tied to anything. But also, I was told when I escaped the dumps, when I got out of the dumps, they had to program me to get out. That's the thing. Like, programmed in, programmed out. Like, people think, oh, I'll just run into the dumps and get a kid out of the cage. No, they're being programmed. They're programmed to do something, which means you have to deprogram to stop them from doing it. Otherwise, they're going to keep coming back to the dumps. You'll be able to keep triggering their implants, and then they'll keep showing up at the rendezvous points. You have to program a person not to come back. I had to be programmed not to go back. This is serious. I'm not lying to you guys, man. I'm not. But there's a lot of mentally sick people online that try to say they're trafficked in MKUltra, and they're just not. I lived it. And I have a right to be ticked off and mad at those posers. And I am. And they're going to see it. And I will make an example out of Shelly and Allie. I've been telling you guys for years. Anybody that gives you an alias or fake name or false name, or they're changing their names, don't trust them. Anybody who's not going to give you their face and name, don't trust them. For instance, you know these ministries? Oh, well, I counsel trafficked people and I got to hide my identity because I'm the ministry that helps people that were trafficked. That's a bunch of bull crap. And when it comes to these so-called victims and survivors, when they're giving you aliases and fake names, don't trust them. When they're changing their names to hide from their past and hide from their real biological family, don't trust them. QAnon never gave you their face or name, nothing. And people blindly believed in them. So whether it's a ministry hiding their name or whether it's a so-called survivor hiding their name, oh, I can't come forward, I'll be terminated. Yeah, me too, but I'm forward. Yeah, that whole, yes, there was an assassination attempt against my life, but that's another story to get into with detail. And it was Heavenly Abba Yahuwah that got me out of that. If I had missed Yahuwah, I would be dead right now. The fact that I woke up, a lot of people were not happy with it. And also voice-to-skull technology was used on me by my Black operations team to make sure I was awake. And that in and of itself kind of helped spare my life. But I don't want to get into that right now. But I will say, sorry, December 2014, I was under death threat. July 2016, I was under death threat. For 2 weeks, I was followed by 2 guys. And the reason why I was targeted was because in July 2016, they murdered Max Spears. Or was it June? I think around June 2016, I was being followed for a couple of weeks because they murdered Max Spears July 16th of 2016. And I was trafficked with Max. And I was going to write Max. And I mean, I had these Facebook Messenger letters ready. All I had to do was hit enter and send it to Max Spears, Spiers. And I cowered down. Chicken, yellow-bellied. Yellow-bellied means chicken shite. And now he's dead. I'll never get the opportunity to talk to him. But if I had just pressed enter, he would have started talking to me and I would have seen what was coming his way. And I could have said, Max, get to an airport right now. Clothes on your back, grab your wallet, just get out, leave everything behind. Go to the airport and go home to your mom's. Go back to England. Now, get out of Poland. When they want to take, I'll tell you, that's another reason why I know Allie and Shelly are full of crap, bouncing around, living on the run. Because when they really want to take somebody down, what they do is they will take you out of your territory where you were born and raised, away from your friends, away from your family, and they will put you in a place that you don't know. God forbid it's a country where you don't know the language. Going from England to Poland, that's a language problem, like barrier. That's what they did to Max Spears, and then they assassinated him, as well as his friend, whose name I forget. I apologize, but there was another man also murdered the same day Max Spears was, and he was murdered over in the UK. And nobody talks about that. No, Max is dead, okay? Max is dead, guys. He paid me a visit after he was assassinated, and he said goodbye. Anyway, you know, when my papa died, I was 13 years old. My papa said goodbye to me, too. And when Papa said goodbye to me, he came to me in a dream, and he held my hand, and we started walking in a park. And my Papa's eyes were 2 different colors, and in the dream, his eyes were 2 different colors, too, and it struck me. And then all of a sudden, Heavenly Abba Yahuwah took me to heaven, and he said, Holly, I'm going to be your dad now. So my Papa who raised me, Bill Gavery, He died 6 days before his 66th birthday. Bill and Millie Gabery raised me. My grandpa was a chef on a minesweeper ship in World War II. And he'd come home and tell Grandma all the time how the Navy would give him and the other soldiers LSD and drugs and other things just to see what it would do. Heavenly Abba, I bind and cast away the entities people use to astral travel, astral project, remote view, send telepathic messages, summon entities out after me, and satanically surveil. I'm already here on a live stream. Why can't they just come join me in the chat room? I bind and cast away the entities people use to achieve such things. And Abba, please send down your warring angels to stand guard around me, but escort that off my property and slam them back in their body, as well as anything that they may have brought with them here. In Yahushua HaMashiach's name, I'm commanding. Selah. Huh. What was I saying? I first have to do dishes before I can even make my breakfast, and I'm starving. Talking about Max Spears. That's right. Assassination attempts. All right, I'm getting off on a little bit of a tangent here. So I need to dry these dishes off. Oh, wait, here, perfect. Oh, good. I can actually dry my dishes so I can have room. This is the good rag, because this is the rag that it's a baby blanket, but it sops up all the wet stuff. Nice and dry, right? It absorbs water, so perfect for drying dishes. So, altars. So when people's altars come forward, they themselves experience a block of missing time. Being co-conscious is an extremely rare, uncommon thing. But you'll notice the fakes, frauds, and liars are always co-conscious. When somebody has an altar and their altar comes forward, again, they don't remember, because it's the altar that's forward and it's the altar that's living things. Also, Shelly was saying, oh, when Allie's altars come forward, her altars don't even recognize me. False. Your altars are always with you. You are them, they are you. So whoever you meet, they met that person already too. So when they come forward, they're going to know who that person is. So for Shelly to say, oh, Allie's altars would come forward and not even recognize me, that's a lie. That's a lie. Allie does not have altars. Shelly has no idea what the hell she's talking about, because that's not how it works. I remember the religious fanatical couple down in Germantown, Maryland wanted to go, oh, but Holly, your altars were forward. How did they know I was sick? I was like, well, aren't you stupid? They're always here. What, you think they okay, Holly, I'm done being here. I'll see you later. And they grab the car keys, walk out the door and drive down the road and take off. And until they come back in, come back down the road, pull in the driveway, then come in the house. What, you think that they're gone? They don't know what I've done? They're up here. They're up here. It's you. Altars are you being mentally ripped apart. If you are demonically possessed, then an altar might act like a demon. But if your demonic possession is taken care of the first time, if you go through a freedom deliverance and your freedom deliverance is done right, meaning that you're set free through the blood of the Lamb in Yahushua's name, If that's done right, you will only need to go through a freedom deliverance once for demonic possession. If your freedom deliverance is done wrong, then you'll have to go back. You do not need to go to a freedom deliverance for every single altar you have. Like one altar cannot be demonically possessed. You're not demonically possessed. It's only that altar. No. You're either demonically possessed or you're not. It's not, okay, that altar is demonically possessed. That one's demonically possessed, but these over here are not. It doesn't work like that. And no, demons do not hide in altars. I know a lot of mistruths because I live it. It's not that I believe in them. I don't believe in them, but they're real. Anyway, I don't want to talk about Soros. He's a part of the Bilderberg group families. He needs to be exposed and eradicated. Evil, rotten man. So, what else can I tell you about altars? Shelly does not have altars. Allie doesn't, because I watched videos where Allie was introducing her altars, and never once did Allie flip. She never switched. There was no switch between the altars or anything. She looked like she was acting to try to get attention. That chick does not have altars. If she's got altars, then my name is Frank. If she's an MKUltra survivor, then my name is Jonathan. They are utter, complete, pathological liars. And I'm mad they've lied to me and my friends. But moreover, Allie has stolen testimonies to even have something to talk about. What she says, what they say about all this MKUltra, SRA, DID, it's all wrong. None of it's correct information. They've never been to a doctor, and you can tell by what they say. You can tell they've never been to a doctor by what they say. She can't tell you who programmed you. Actually, Shelly says, well, they broke in her house at a very young age and got her, and they took her into a closet and raped her, and that's MKUltra programming. Oh, yeah, and here we go with the bathtub. Yep, they raped her in the bathtub, and that's MKUltra programming. And meanwhile, it's all a lie, because that's not how MKUltra programming works. None of that. You know what that is? That's sheer just being raped. Nothing having to do with MKUltra. So people typically do not know when their altars come forward. For them, they have blocks of missing time. The way that Allie and Shelly explain these supposed altars is all malarkey. When an altar comes forward, the altar starts telling the memories. Well, what you want to do is get the memories from the altar and turn the altar immediately over to Yahusha. You need to say, hey, let me introduce you to Yahushua HaMashiach. He can save you. He can put you back together. And that's it. You want to introduce every altar that comes forward to our Savior immediately. And then, offer the altar something to drink, something to eat, comfort them. And then pray to Yahuwah. You have to pray to Yahuwah. You can say, Heavenly Abba Yahuwah, please put this altar back down and give me Holly. In Yahushua HaMashiach's name, I pray for Holly's core raw personality come back. Please, Abba, I pray. Please have your Ruach HaKodesh help her. In Yahushua HaMashiach's name, Selah. And you rely on Heavenly Abba to do all the work with the victim. And you allow Heavenly Abba to tell you what's happening with the victim. Let him guide you. And he will answer. He will guide you. Oh, yes, he will. I know he will. It's us. We just have to be genuine and sincere and seek him. Oh, he'll be there. He'll answer. So as far as triggers, if you trigger somebody with altars, all you're doing is triggering their memories to come back. You could be triggering, like if a person is deprogrammed, if a person is actually fully deprogrammed like I am, and somebody tries to trigger me, I recognize and realize the trigger. I can feel it trying to affect me, trying to affect my line of thinking and change my line of thinking. And I rely on the Holy Spirit in Yahushua's name. I rely on his Ruach HaKodesh. And I fight the triggering so that way I do not go back active. Now, I am programmed to be a super soldier. So if you trigger me, you're triggering me to go active. And I've been used as a soldier. So when someone like me is triggered, you're looking at a whole shitstorm. You better hope somebody like me is deprogrammed, because if not, welcome to World War IV. I'm not exaggerating. I'm talking about actual super soldiers, programmed individuals, actual MKUltra slaves. This is where you get these shooters from, or MKUltra slaves. This is where you get your Manchurian candidates from. Now, if they used a person for sex, it was solely to get information on a certain target, or to set up a soul tie on a target so you could access that person whenever you wanted. But see, if MKUltra used you as a sex slave, there was a reason behind it. It wasn't just for jollies or to be a party favor. It was for and with an objective. Getting information. Nothing to do with soapy feet. But just to be a sex slave, there's no, just all you have to do is go to a strip joint and find a girl. You don't need to make a slave for it. There's plenty of girls that are willing to have pimps. You don't have to waste your time and money on creating one. Now, if you're going to create a whore with the sole intent that she's going to sleep around and get information, then it might be worth your time. Or to set up that soul tie on people, then it might be worth your time and money. But to waste MKUltra programming and the time it takes to make an MKUltra slave on somebody that you're just going to let show up at celebrity parties to be used as a party favor, no, that's not MKUltra. That's not MKUltra at all. And that's not how MKUltra is used. Maybe I should be on Instagram running these videos. Instagram right now is being taken, lied to. And it's a shame because they might not ever see this video. They really do need to see it. Hey, 1988, Ziggy, how are you? Doing better now that I see you. I look possessive of my family. Yes. You guys are my family. I am possessive over you. You're mine. Your other friends can have visitation, okay? But you're mine. So, triggering. So for a super soldier like me to be triggered, I'm going back into action. And I've already been given my instructions and orders. But if you trigger somebody that, say, had altars created because they were raped or in their normal life they got divorced and these things were so tragic for them that an altar spun off, well, then when you trigger that kind of person, yeah, you're going to make them cry. You're going to make them revert back to that divorce that crippled them, or to the death in the family, or to whatever horrific car accident. You'll bring that person back to that moment. But for someone like me that's a super soldier to get triggered, that's bad, because that's how That's how wars happen. I know, because they sent me over to Sarajevo in 91 and 92. We started that. And there's no reason for that bloodbath. No reason for it. So what I don't like is when a regular person goes, and I got plenty of these friends too. Oh, Holly, I'm triggered. I'm triggered. You're not triggered. You got your panties in a twist. You're upset. You've got no idea what it's like to be triggered. You have no idea what it's like to be triggered. And you getting upset, that's not triggered. That's just you upset. When I get triggered, I've been put through programming, Janet's programming, Last Days and End Times. I was to be cool. I was to be called forward to serve the beast of the sea. Lucifer doesn't come yet. No, he does not. People need to know their enemy. Lucifer, we're not fighting Lucifer right now. We're fighting the beast of the land and the beast of the sea. Lucifer's got nothing to do with it right now. He's not chained up. Lucifer is about to pass his power to the beast of the sea. And I think it might be on inauguration, a little after inauguration day, but we'll see how inauguration day goes first. And maybe that's why Barry Obama was being so nice to Trump, is because once they assassinate him and then they take his rotting remains and reanimate it, then we'll have the beast of the sea, because Osiris' spirit will be possessing his dead, rotting corpse. And then Barry Obama will pass his power, his blessings over to Trump. Both of them being symbolic of the evilness that we are to fight. Obama being symbolic of Lucifer, and then Trump, well, Trump being flat out dead, but his rotting corpse being reanimated by Osiris's spirit and Elon Musk's technology. And then everybody's going to want to chip because they'll see that it brought Trump back to life, and everybody will want to chip now. So I got my eye on inauguration day. But this goes back to stuff that I was programmed with in the dumps. Like, this goes back to my programming. And when you see that head wound happen and get healed, just know I'm going to be on my knees in Yahushua HaMashiach's name talking to Yahuwah, and I will not be going active. I will not be in D.C. I will be right here at home hanging on to my good book, the Old and New Testaments. No, I'm not kidding, because I was to be used as the troops for the Antichrist, the human troops for the Antichrist. By the way, the 200 million mounted troops, we do not have 200 million horses, and mounted troops are very specific. Those mounted troops are coming from the Raphaim and Nephilim down inside the earth. And when Abba says 200,000 mounted troops, or 200 million, he means 200 million. And that's the kingdom of darkness. Guys, we haven't seen anything yet. We're not in tribulation yet. I thought the tribulation was going to start off with one of the four horsemen. Maybe it is. I started thinking maybe it's going to start off with a head wound that gets healed. I don't know. I think I got my alarm set for inauguration day. And also, I want to be present for the 19th, because I guess they're going to have a victory parade for Trump. He should not go to these things. He should sit these things out. He really should. Because he's going to think, because I can see it now, Trump's thinking, oh, they didn't get me the first time I was in office. You know, they stole the 2020 election. They're not going to get me this time. And the second he thinks that, he walks out on stage, that's when they're going to get him. And then he's going to die. What happens after that? That's what I'm concerned about. That's probably when he'll get the third temple built, because he'll, when they off him and then they use Osiris's spirit to reanimate his remains, his dead, rotting corpse, then all the world will marvel, and then they'll let him build a third temple. I mean, the Middle East already loves Trump. The lying Jews in Israel already love Trump. He's going to get that third temple built. You watch. You watch. All my prophecies I've been talking about since 2018, they're going to come true. That Celeste from Master's Voice, she's a false prophet. Everything she said was going to happen never came true. She said that Biden was going to die, and then Kamala Harris was going to be president. And then because Kamala Harris was president, then we'd be forced to have another black woman president. And then Michelle Obama, who's Michael Obama, would then be our president. Yeah, Master's Voice, Celeste, she's a false prophet and false teacher. Yes, she is. Everything she said never came true. And what kills me is I meet people, I think we're friends, I give them my prophecies, they wind up not listening to me and running off and going and listening to the fakes, frauds, and liars. Why bother becoming my friend in the first place if you're just going to trade me in for the people who lie about being MKUltra, lie about being gang stalked, lie about being raped by celebrities like Allie's done. And all of it is sheer, utter lies. We're supposed to eradicate liars from our lives, not embrace them. Not give them a mic. All right, now I need food. Oh my gosh, this sucks. I need food. I don't know what to do. I gotta go. I don't know what to do. I gotta go food shopping. I don't have any water. I gotta eat something first up. You know what I could do? I can't even make my shake because I need water for my shake. I gotta hurry up and eat my bananas before they go bad. So, hey, Giant B. Glad to be caught on. I ran a 3-hour video before this, but I actually have a really important appointment coming up this afternoon that I'm running late for. But I got to actually go to the store and go get a whole bunch of water. Spend $50 on water, so I have it for a week or two. And then I got Rumble a placemat. I have to have an appointment, but then I better have enough time tomorrow to vacuum and clean my own house. I'm like really pressed for time. Can you give me a moment? I need a minute. Excuse me. I got to check the powder in the powder room. I got to make sure it does not explode. Okay, so there's that. I didn't put anything on my cheeseburger yesterday, did I? No. All right, you guys are going to be my lunch company to make sure I eat. I don't like how they pre-cut the cheese at food stores anymore. I miss being able to go directly to the deli guy and say, can you cut me cheese? Like, I like things cut real thin. Like my turkey and chicken, I like it nice and paper thin. It tastes better. All right. Should I use some barbecue sauce? Oh no, that sucks. I love my blue cheese. It expired already. Like, I get the blue cheese salad dressing, and then I get like actual blue cheese, the crumbled blue cheese, and I add it. And then I get, this is the only vegetable I eat. I get the celery and I dip it in the blue cheese, the crumbled blue cheese, and the blue cheese salad dressing. And I eat the daylights out of that. But I make like buffalo chicken. I'll cook up a chicken breast really, really spicy. And that's what I'll chomp down on, is the celery sticks and the chicken. So I don't have any water. I forgot that when I went to the store, I forgot this morning to pick up a gallon of water when I went to the store. Triggers and triggering. What can I tell you about it? Like, I was programmed, so a lot of people cannot even tell when I shift. Or back when before I was fully reintegrated, a lot of people could not tell when an altar came forward. Only those people who really, really know me. But there's always a sign of when someone flips into an altar. And fakers and frauds never flip into altar. They just sit there going, oh, this is my one altar's name, so-and-so, and they lie. They miss that flip, you know? And I'm really angry because there's people out there that really suffered MKUktra programming. There's really people out there that suffered being raped as kids, and they suffered so bad that now as adults, they're changed from it. They're altered from it. And you get fakes, frauds, and liars pretending to be a victim, and it's not okay. I know people who have been permanently damaged in a sexual manner by these MKUltra programs. And what I mean by that is not that they're unable to have kids. It's that maybe they've gotten sex changes, or maybe they live as a different gender. And maybe the reason why they do that is because the MKUltra programming that destroyed them and screwed them all up. I'm treading lightly. But to sit there and go, oh, well, I can't have kids because it's MKUltra program, that's a load of hooey-fooey. I know a lot of people that were destroyed sexually because of this MKUltra programming. And they were destroyed in that, oh, we can all have kids. It's just that some of them might be gay or bisexual, or some of them might have gotten a sex change or live differently other than how they were born. And it's because of the MKUltra that damaged them. But then you have Shelly and Allie saying Allie can't have kids because the MKUltra and she was trafficked. And meanwhile, it's a bunch of lies. We just saw a bunch of pictures where she was pregnant. She got her hand on her belly and everything, got that glow in her cheeks a pregnant woman gets. Lying about that. Where'd the babies go? Who'd you sell the babies to, Allie? I was used as a breeder in the dumbs. I didn't do it willingly on the surface of the earth. Where are those kids at? No? So you're pregnant and you don't know where your kids are at? I can tell you where mine are at. Stupidly, the boyfriend and I walked myself into an abortion clinic twice. And then the boyfriend got me Plan B and I took it. Other than that, when I was used in the dumbs, in the breeding projects in the dumbs, when I was used in the breeding projects in the dumbs, the very Rothschild that paid Joseph Mangley a lot of money to create me as an Uberman and just to create me, gene splicing was used in my creation. That Rothschild, impregnated me. And then when I gave birth to that baby, the Rothschild then took it and sacrificed the baby. Right then and there on the spot. Sacrificed my baby. Because that's what the elites do. To keep their power in good standing with Lucy. And that's what they do. I delivered the baby. I got in a knife fight. I fought them. I fought them as hard as I could. And then I lost the fight. And they took the baby. And that broke me so much that I was done. I was done. In my head, I locked myself away. It was a son, and I always wanted to have a son. I always wanted to have kids. There was another time in the dumbs where they used me for breeding, but they took the baby out of me. After a couple of months or a few months, they took the baby out of me. I think I don't know, they put it in some other woman's womb. I don't know. Put it in an incubator. I don't know what they did with it. So that's what it's like. I mean, that's what it's really like. That's what I went through. Once that happened, I locked myself away. In my head, I literally locked myself away. I found a place inside my mind, and I locked myself there. And it was not until the year 2019 that I had found that place in my mind where I locked myself away. No wonder why I don't have kids now as an adult. So, because I was broken, and I after that, I was thoroughly broken. I was done. That's about when they farmed me out to Project Seagate, and that's when they farmed me out to black operations in the military. That's when they sent me off for other things. That's when I was used as a soldier, an assassin, a runner, all to get information, triple agent, spying on people. They broke me at that point. So, like, You know, for people like Shelly and Allie to be lying about stuff like that, it's really disgusting. It's really, really disgusting. And they're doing it intentionally. I do not believe they're mentally ill. I believe they are intentionally that sick, evil, corrupt, and disgusting that they would come up with such god awful lies. And I'm affected. I'm just one person who's affected by their lies because they're pretending to be trafficked. I really was trafficked, and I don't appreciate them dirtying the waters with their lies, their falsehoods, false information, false teachings, false prophecies. Allie was even trying to say how these celebrities not only had sex with her, but they were using her as some sort of psychic. Get the hell out of here. Did you hear her predictions when Puff Daddy was arrested? Oh, there's going to be another arrest. There's going to be another arrest. You'll see there's going to be another arrest. And then a month later, oh, there's going to be 3 arrests. 3 arrests. You'll see. There's 2 more coming. There's 2 more coming. And those more arrests, Allie did that on 2 separate occasions where Allie herself, don't get mad at me, get mad at Allie. Because on 2 separate occasions, Allie came on to say that there were going to be 2 more arrests made in conjunction with Penis Diddy. And there were no more arrests made. Don't get mad at me that she said it was going to happen and it did not happen. And I noticed it didn't happen. And she keeps saying this stuff to you guys over and over and over. And you keep believing her and listening to her. And now that she gets called out on it, you guys are mad at me, and then they're running around lying, saying they're getting death threats. The only thing that's threatening to them is the truth. Because they're a bunch of rotten liars. What, these 90s angels and army, they don't have enough common sense to investigate and see if she's telling the truth? They don't have enough common sense to listen to Ms. Outlaw and her testimony? Oh, Allie, I will always back you. I will always have your back. And you're going to ignore Miss Outlaw's testimony? You're just going to listen to Allie, and whatever she says about somebody else is now golden? So now Allie's your spiritual advisor. She's your PR department. And now you guys are not going to listen to her biological mother. You're just going to take her word for it. Guaranteed, if you listen to her biological mother, you're going to see something extraordinary. You're going to see the truth. Because Miss Outlaw will give it to you. You are not getting the truth from Shelly and Allie. None of us ever got the truth. They were doing it for popularity, money, and all of it's lies. Every last thing they said. I'll see you later. Can I go to the gym too? Yeah, I got to eat and then I got to go off to my appointment. Yeah, I got some more time. I'm stalling to go to my appointment, but at least when I come home. Oh, no, actually, I'm going to the food store first. And then to the apartment. I gotta take care of it. Anyway. Craziness. To sit there and say, oh, the kids, the children, even if we can't come together for the kids. So now you're guilting people and watching you. So people feel obligated to watch you because they do care about the kids. But if they turn you off, you're going to guilt them into watching you because we got to come together for the kids. Yet Allie and Shelly are absolutely lying. Everything they said about MKUltra is so wrong, not accurate, and false. Okay, there's no MKUltra closet programming. There's no MKUltra bathtub programming. They're just making up. Oh, it's a project. It's a program. There's no program for that crap. They're making it up. And then the common viewer doesn't listen. And then their viewers, that's what gets me. Their viewers want to just listen to them. Meanwhile, Allie is painting a completely different picture to her viewers than what's really happening. Allie's not telling her army and her angels, hey, listen, I'm being called out for being a liar. Nobody's threatening us. Nobody's harassing us. Everybody has asked Shelly and I to come on their platform to explain ourselves. But instead, Shelly and I just run videos when we want, turn off the comments. We only leave them on when we see certain people in our chat room, turn them off and when we see others. So, no, Shelly and Allie are not telling you that everybody has offered them opportunities to go on platforms to speak up for themselves, but they keep blocking everybody, running and hiding. They only talk when they want to. They'll only turn on comments when they want to. But yet they don't want to go on Mr. King World's platform. They don't want to go on Mr. Kulu's platform. They don't want to go on any of these other platforms that are offering them the opportunity. They're just taking shots and then going and then running away. Take a few more shots and run away. So she's misleading her army, and they don't have enough common sense to actually look into what's going on. They just believe her blindly. This is what gets me, because I'll tell you what, when I hear stories, I look into things. First thing I want to know is if I'm being told the truth. And I can tell you, like these people, they're not telling you the truth at all. Everything they say about MKUltra is a complete lie. You get other people that are demonically possessed, under demonic attack. Paranoid schizophrenia is caused by demonic possession. Those people run around telling everybody, oh, the government's gang stalking me. The government's after me. Yeah, they sit outside my house watching me, shooting up direct energy weapons at me. I go to the store and they're there at the store making faces at me, giving me a hard time. I'm gang stalked wherever I go because of what I do on the internet. And meanwhile, they're not doing anything on the internet. They're not. Just because you think you're a counselor to victims does not mean your life is in danger. And what these two say is all a bunch of lies. People need to be angry. But the fact that the Chinese angels don't have enough common sense to at least give Miss Outlaw an opportunity to talk, that's insanity. That's insanity. I can't believe that these people will let Allie and Shelly sit there and badmouth others without at least letting the others speak up for themselves. But then Allie and Shelly will not even go on these platforms to explain their heinous lies. They're the ones that have heinous lies, and they just keep making up heinous lies. They're not under death threat. Nobody has threatened them. I hope people wake up and stop listening to those two liars. There's a big difference between Allie and I. The first thing is I'm actually a victim who overcame her traumas and tortures to be a survivor. That's the first difference. I really do have faith in Yahusha. That's the second difference. The third difference, I'm honest. I'm not making this up. The way she trots around in her videos, It's all about popularity and acting with this person. The second she said that she was Tupac's daughter was the second I knew she was a liar. And what Shelly did to Miss Outlaw, it's bad enough Miss Outlaw's own daughter did it to her, but Shelly, a stranger, a social worker? Wow. So Shelly's not happy enough screwing up her own son, making him sexually deranged. She's got to go for Miss Outlaw's daughter. Listen, Allie is not being forced against her will to do anything at any time. Food. You're going to be my company too. To lie and say you're an MKUltra survivor, and then to boot, you don't even have any memories or stories. Nothing. I watched their videos yesterday, and I could not believe what I was seeing when I watched Allie and Shelly's videos yesterday. I was like, I got friends that actually watch this crap and believe it. Because every once in a while on Facebook, I'll see prayers for Allie and Shelly. They're under death threat again. It's like, what are they, like, starting crap? I mean, they fall under death threat so much, they got to stop messing with people. Anyway. Like, people sit there saying how they're being followed and chased. Okay, that's paranoid schizophrenia. That's not MKUltra. They're not a high-profile whistleblower. And even though I'm high-profile as far as being a victim and survivor myself, I can live at my house. I don't have to run through a grocery store with people chasing after me. Yes, I have been places where people have recognized me. So we said, hi, how you doing? Talked a little bit and then went on a merry way. Big deal. They didn't harass me or do anything wrong. They're like, hey, I know you. You're Holly. Big deal. Or, hey, I read your book. I think Shelly and Allie make it all up. I think they're drama queens. They make it all up. I cannot believe that as a mother, Shelly did that to Miss Outlaw. Shelly, you knew Miss Outlaw did not want Allie hanging out with you and those other kids. They had no rules, no guidance. And what'd you do? You undermined Miss Outlaw. The way you and Allie acted around that cop 3 weeks ago when you got pulled over, you ought to be ashamed of yourselves. You don't stand for the kids. You don't speak for the survivors. You don't speak for me. I can speak for myself. You are not the spokesperson of victims and survivors. You're the spokespeople of utter sheer lies, Shelly and Allie. You're not a whistleblower. You're not even a victim in the first place, Allie. Miss Outlaw is a victim here. because Allie doesn't want rules, Shelly lets her break them. Allie had a mom that she disowned for some white chick. I'm angry. I'm angry that they've been lying, pretending to be victims. And everything that Shelly and Allie says about contracts and codes, SRA, MKUltra, and DID, it's all lies. It's not the truth. None of it's true. They don't even know what they're talking about at all. And anybody can see they don't know what they're talking about. Now, if you yourself are someone who's mentally ill, pretending to be an MKUltra survivor, of course you're going to side with Allie and Shelly because they're liars too, and you're lying about your own trauma. I think when, I don't even know how to explain it. I've seen mentally unstable people start claiming to be targeted individuals. I've seen mentally unstable people start claiming to be trafficked. And then I've just seen sheer evil people lie about it. And then I've seen confused people, honestly confused people, thinking that they could have been trafficked because they have the similar demonic attacks that I have. And you're not supposed to self-diagnose yourself like that. It's Sunday, so I think they're going to close early. But I'll be honest, I'm really disgusted with Shelly and Allie. I figured something was wrong with them, but I didn't think it was this bad. I didn't think it was this bad where this girl is lying saying she can't have kids, but there we are looking at a bunch of pictures of her while she's pregnant. Lying the way she does about her mother. Lying about her whole childhood. She was not neglected. She just didn't want rules. She wanted to do what she wanted. And because Shelly would let her and her biological mom would not, Allie did whatever Allie wanted to do so she could get her way. That's all that is. Was Allie did what Allie wanted to do to get her way, and Shelly was a means. And Shelly's coming up with all these complicated lies to try to cover up. She's coming up with this MKUltra and P. Diddy rater to cover up that they're both lying. Well, I wonder what attorney, they obviously don't have legal representation. So obviously Busby will not take Allie and Lori Shelly's case. Because all the stuff they're up online saying about celebrities, any attorney would have been like, take that crap down, and they've never taken it down. That's because they don't have a case against P. Diddy because he never raped her. Neither did Jay-Z, neither did Denzel Washington, neither did Joan Rivers. Allie was never at those parties. You can tell by her very own testimony she was never at those parties. She wouldn't be able to describe Pete Diddy's bedroom to you if you supplied her a dictionary, if you supplied her a floor plan. All right, on that note, I'm going to go be productive. Okay, Joe. So, well, the first video, I started off with definitions of what a real MKUltra survivor is. And then the rest of the video, I started playing clips of their videos. They got some audacity, lying about being trafficked. Everything they say is false. I know it is. I've spoken to people like Douglas Riggs, even though he was out to defend the Queen. I've spoken to professionals and people that really know about MKUltra. They do not explain MKUltra the way Shelly does. That's because Shelly's not explaining MKUltra. Shelly and Allie are lying. A lot of people fall under demonic attack, but they don't want to admit that it's a demonic attack because that doesn't sound as pretty as their lie does. I think that's a hell of a thing, too. Lying about being trafficked. I'm not standing by that. She was not trafficked, and I can tell by her testimony she wasn't. All right, guys. I'll see you later. I love you. She's not trafficked.